Hi, I'm Tammy, and I am the Keto Cricket. Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to make some delicious zucchini pancakes, and while I make those, I thought I would kind of give you a little update as well on the No Artificial Sweetener Challenge for June. If you're a person that has a hard time eating your vegetables, you don't really like them, this is a great recipe that you can actually do where you don't really taste the zucchini. Okay, so to get started on the zucchini pancakes, you need, guess what? A zucchini. Shocking. Baking soda. Cinnamon is optional. Vanilla extract, or your favorite extract. And I actually like to do maple extract instead of the cinnamon. You could actually do both if you wanted. It makes it taste more like a French toast type of taste. So you can do both. I usually do the maple extract instead of the cinnamon because the cinnamon has more carbs in it and the maple extract doesn't. Flaxseed, and this is actually ground up flaxseed. So I grind this up in my coffee grinder. You will need 2 eggs, and this is going to make enough for me. I only eat 2 meals a day though, so I do eat a pretty good sized meal. It's about anywhere from 700 to 900 calories in the morning. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our zucchini, and I typically cut the end off down here. And honestly, I have been putting zucchini in pancakes for decades. This is actually, when my kids were little, my son hates vegetables, like appalls them. He still kind of does actually, but so I used to put zucchini and carrots in his pancakes when he was little. So when I did that, I actually peeled the zucchini because that didn't show as much of the green, because the inside of the zucchini is really more of a yellowy color, so I could hide it quite a bit better. And that went on for quite a few years until he actually caught me grating the zucchini for his pancakes. So and then he started looking, right? So then he totally discovered my secret. But yeah, so that was a good way for me to incorporate some veggies into his life way before keto, low carb, anything. So for you moms out there, if you're trying to get your kiddos to eat vegetables, put them in smoothies, put them in pancakes, put them in bread. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. So what I have here is a nut bag. You could use a terry dishcloth as well, you know, preferably something cotton, but I really like these. I got these pretty cheap. I think I got a set of 4 for, I want to say, like $12. I'll link that below in the description, but I really like them because it's just really handy. So I just kind of flip that around, and this is a mesh material. It's called a nut milk bag, so you can make nut milk. I've never made nut milk, so, and then you're just going to twist it to get the moisture out of the zucchini. And you'll see some zucchinis have more moisture than others. So, and I don't know, I'm not a, you know, really big in agriculture, so I don't know if that's because it's more or less ripe, or I don't really know what the story is with that, or if it's just merely the size. You do want to kind of wiggle it around a little bit so you can get different parts of the zucchini. And if you ever wrung out clothes, you probably know you kind of switch directions of how you wring. So there's all the water we're going to just dump. Then we're going to grab our bowl here. The key to pancakes, I don't care if you are making wheat pancakes, white pancakes, a little zucchini in my bowl. It doesn't matter. Low carb. The key to a fluffy pancake is the eggs. I'll post the original recipe on here. I did not create this recipe. I have just tweaked it. So I'll post that below, and it calls for 1 egg. And like I said, it does do 1 basically serving. So it'll do either 2 small pancakes or 1 large pancake in the original recipe, which does not call for the zucchini. But when I added the zucchini, I wanted to have an extra egg to help combine everything. But as I was saying, the key to pancakes is to fluff them up. So you want to really, I prefer to use a fork, honestly. You could probably do a mix or immersion blender, I guess. I don't know. I always just grab a fork and really beat my eggs really well so that they're nice and fluffy. So once we have our eggs nice and fluffy, then I'm just going to start adding in my ingredients. Baking soda, and I just kind of do a dab. It's probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon of maple syrup instead of substituting the amount with cinnamon. But like I said, I'm not going to say too much because it's not my recipe, and I do want you to go check the person who originally posted it and took the time to do it. And I usually sprinkle some light salt because at keto we always need to add salt. Kind of mix that up a little bit. And we're going to add some lemon juice to activate that baking soda. The next thing I'm going to do is add my shredded zucchini without trying not to get the bag into the egg, because how I clean these is I just rinse them really well with super hot water with this, the sprayer on my sink. They clean pretty quickly. But if I get them in the egg, then I have to actually wash them. And you can wash them in the dishwasher. I haven't yet. We're going to mix that all up here. The original recipe also called for some extra water or milk to be added, almond milk or whatever. I do not add that because of the extra moisture that I put in by adding that zucchini. Actually grind that up with a coffee grinder, and you can find them really cheap at Walmart, anywhere from $10 to $15. You can get them online on Amazon, but they're super handy to have for grinding flaxseed, chia seeds, coconut, chocolate, which is amazing because, who doesn't like chocolate? So you can get that all kind of mixed up, and then I'm going to kind of let that set a little bit, and while that's setting, I will usually clean up my area and move over to the griddle. So let's move over. Okay, so we have our griddle here, and I've got it temped to about 325, which I believe is a little hotter than the recipe calls for. Again, there is a lot of moisture in that zucchini, so I typically want to add 1.5 tablespoons of butter. So that's just kind of, it just depends on the recipe. So for this particular recipe, I don't count all of it because I don't use all of it. I don't even use it all on the pan. As you can see, I'm going to pretty much get my pancakes, and you can spread these out. It's kind of the fun thing, is like if you run out of room or whatever, you can spread them out honestly into just about any shape you want. So if you really care, if you have circles or you want to do a dinosaur shape, or I don't know, whatever, you certainly can. And I really try to get all of the stuff out of my bowl, because darn it, if I'm going to count those carbs, I want to eat them. So I've done my walk and all my other things I do in the morning, but I have not done my hair. I usually do that after breakfast, so I apologize for my appearance. But, I did brush it. It's just not pretty. So that's fine. So I'm going to make some coffee, and I did no caffeine there, which I think is good to kind of get your body reacclimated to living off no caffeine. But really, I was trying to figure out what my food triggers were, because since about March, April, basically about the time I started working out, I noticed that I really started to once again have issues with binging. And again, it's not, I didn't go off plan per se. I didn't eat like regular pancakes. I would only eat keto food. Ate a lot of pecan butter, which I really like. Those kinds of things. But I've just been trying to figure out, and I would hungry, and I knew that working out would make me hungrier. You're burning more calories, you're putting more energy out, you're going to need more energy, and I knew that would be kind of a temporary thing as well, because your body does adjust. But, I've been working out since at least mid-April, very consistently. I've done my walks forever. That's just for the health of my doggo. But I was just trying to figure out, because I was back to just really having to use self-control all the time. And I did pretty well. I didn't go crazy every day or a whole weekend or anything. but I don't want to have to just use, you know, willpower all the time, because eventually it does run out, right? So I first I cut no caffeine, and what really inspired me was Alma saying, hey, let's do no artificial sweeteners in June. Well, the only way I can do no artificial sweeteners was to cut out my Diet Dr. Pepper. And I'm like, okay, well, if I don't have Diet Dr. Pepper, I'm going to have a caffeine headache if I don't start weaning myself off. So I took pretty much the end of April and it took about a month to slowly wean myself off of caffeine. So I started with Diet Dr. Pepper and then slowly weaned myself off coffee. Now I'm putting myself back on caffeine because just this week I really am fairly certain that caffeine itself is not my trigger, but that sweeteners are. So now Alma's challenge is no artificial sweeteners. So I bought a whole bunch of monk fruit because, as y'all know, I can't have stevia. And so my sweetener of choice has always been the sucralose. And this isn't a sucralose bottle, by the way. I just use it. I'm kind of like Sandy, and Sandy's losing it. I really like my containers. So I got a whole bunch of this monk fruit. Let's go check on our pancakes really quick. Okay, so we want to make sure our pancakes are good and crisp. And there they go. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. And it smells, oh my gosh, it smells so good. I'm going to flip these over and then I'll add the eggs. But anyway, back to Alma's challenge. So no artificial sweeteners. Cut out that, so I bought a bunch of monk fruit to make sure that I could do it, because I don't like to say I'm going to do something unless I am sure that I can do it. I'm actually going to add more butter. I'm big on the whole let your yes be yes and your no be no. I'm not really a person that says I'm going to do something and then doesn't do it, unless, obviously, there are always exceptions because life happens, but that's just not how I live my life. That's just me. But anyway, so I would do the monk fruit, and I did that for the first 2 weeks of June and just substitute monk fruit, and it was fine. I was like, okay, I can do it. I even came up with a recipe on how to make root beer, basically, with the monk fruit using club soda and some root beer extract. And again, everything went fine, except the purpose for me was again to figure out why I was just hungry and wanting to eat, and all of my food triggers were at high alert still, even with the monk fruit. And so I was like, well, the next step is basically no sweeteners at all. And you know, and I knew in my head that sweeteners make you want more sweets. I mean, everybody kind of understands that basic principle. But I was really hoping that that wasn't it, that it was the caffeine. But I hadn't had caffeine for quite a while. And yeah, I was still having the same issues with my food addiction. So I went ahead and I dropped out sweeteners as of the 15th of June. And since then, I'm going to move us back over here while I make my coffee. We're just kind of going all over the place today. So since then, that was a Friday, and it takes a while for your body to kind of detox, so it definitely wasn't instant. But I noticed, yeah, I definitely noticed for sure on Sunday. And I had a trip with my daughter on Sunday, so I did want to snack. But it was more, I can always tell if it's a difference between my food addiction, an emotional issue, or just a habit. And whenever I traveled, I always ate. I would always bring snacks, jerky, sunflower seeds. I really wasn't like a big just eat candy, but I did eat a lot of snacks. So I had a big trip on Sunday, so I did have that, and I did want, especially Diet Dr. Pepper, because I was really tired and I wanted that caffeine. But I did good. I didn't do anything. So no sweeteners. And Monday, I was full. I was good. So Sunday I noticed I was pretty full, but again I wanted to snack. Monday and I reduced my calories back down too. So that was the interesting thing, is I'm coming up on my ketoversary, and I'd really like to do one last push just to see how much weight I can lose before my anniversary. And I'm not eating nothing. I'm still eating 1,500 calories a day. And I'll eat more if I need it. It's not like I'm steadfast in that number. If I'm truly hungry, I will definitely add more calories, because again, I am working out every day. Well, 6 days a week. But anyway, so Monday came and I was full. Like I was very full. Not just like a little full, like I was very full. And I haven't felt that feeling in such a long time. So I'm like, okay, well, now let's go ahead and let's definitely add some caffeine back, because you know, I want to make sure that it truly is just the sweetener and it's not caffeine mixed in. But at that point, I was pretty sure that that's what it actually was. So obviously, I don't need a bunch of caffeine. So I've been doing half caffeinated, half decaffeinated in my coffee pot in the mornings. Plus, I wasn't sure if I could drink coffee without sweetener, because coffee's gross. Just so you know. I've never been like, yum, coffee. No, coffee's disgusting. But I put some heavy cream in there, and I recently bought this MCT oil creamer. I don't know why they call it creamer. It's not creamer, folks. It's not. If you're buying this thinking it's going to replace your creamer, you're wrong. It's not at all. Not even a little. But it does have a good, you know, if you watch my Two Fit Docs, they did a whole thing with their coffee, and their keto levels really went up with the MCT. And I don't test my keto levels, and I don't know that it really matters too much about it, but I found it interesting, so I thought I would give it a try. That's the story on that. So I do this and some creamer in my coffee in the morning, and again, just stuffed. So I eat my breakfast, and then I eat my lunch, and I'm full, and I'm not triggered. I'm not sitting there just constantly thinking about food. Monday, I actually even went and totally was working, lost track of time, and my son came in and was like, hey, I want to make some chicken Alfredo. Do we have any chicken already cooked? And I did have some chicken defrosted that I was going to cook, and I was like, oh yeah, and I looked at the clock and it was 1:30, which I, as a food addict, I literally usually wake up thinking about food. I go to bed thinking about food. So yeah. So sweeteners are definitely my trigger. Am I never going to have sweetener again? No, because that's just stupid. I'm not going to even think about that. But I'm not going to put them in my everyday. So let's go check on our pancakes. Okay, we are back. And I do salt my eggs very liberally. And I use this light salt as well as the Himalayan sea salt. The light salt adds some potassium to my day, so I appreciate that. But these are my delicious pancakes. So as you've heard, I'm not using any artificial sweetener, so you may be thinking, well, what are you going to put on your pancakes? Well, I will show you. I'm going to put on my homemade pecan butter, which I made this last batch without any sweetener. So I'm going to do 30 grams, and I do weigh it, because things that have carbs I tend to weigh. Butter and eggs, I don't, I mean, obviously you can't just eat eggs all day, but they're kind of already weighed by themselves. So if you guys want to know how to make this pecan butter, put it in the comments below and just let me know. So I'm going to kind of stir that up. I've got my scale, and it's 30 grams is a pretty good amount, and 30. So that adds to that delicious flavor. Oh, it's really good. And so there is my delicious breakfast. Pancakes, eggs, and then I'll have 2 cups of coffee with a tablespoon of heavy cream and a tablespoon of that emulsified MCT oil in each cup with no sweetener. That, my folks, is how to make zucchini pancakes. What kind of vegetables do you put in your pancakes? And give me a comment below, like I said, if you want to know how to make the pecan butter. And I probably will start sharing my story because I did get a couple people that said that they would be interested in that. If you are opposed to that, though, definitely let me know. And it sounds like most of you are kind of like me, like some short videos and some long videos. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later.